The city of Vera 9 stretched beneath the human cadets like a living constellation. Its towers shimmered with impossible colors, glass and crystal refracting light into patterns no human eyes had names for. Alien citizens moved with a grace that seemed choreographed, their bodies bending and folding in ways humans had not evolved to mimic. But there, in the midst of this alien perfection, humans thrived in their own chaotic brilliance. Rylan adjusted his pack, feeling the subtle vibration of the grav field beneath his boots. Around him, hundreds of alien students executed maneuvers that looked more like art than training. Some flipped with 4 or 6 limbs in perfect arcs, while others shifted their forms fluidly, as though gravity itself bent around them. And then Rylan leapt. He stumbled slightly on the first jump, an imperfection, a miscalculation. But instinct carried him, and he landed with a precision that was neither alien nor mechanical but human. Whispers rose like waves through the hall. Humans were crude at first glance, clumsy, small, but every misstep was a lesson, every failure a step toward mastery. Later, in the cafeteria, chaos reigned. Trays hovered mid-air, levitated by anti-gravity tech, foods shimmered with phosphorescent glazes. Rylan bumped into a table, sending a tray sliding toward the floor. Without hesitation, he caught it with a single hand, the alien occupant staring in frozen disbelief. A murmur ran through the room. Humans were reckless, unpredictable, audacious. They laughed, they acted without fear, and somehow, they excelled in ways others never anticipated. Walking through the city streets after training, the cadets passed towering holographic murals depicting millennia of alien history. The images flickered, showing wars, alliances, and innovations spanning eons. Rylan paused to touch a glowing glyph, tracing the lines with his fingers. For a moment, he imagined himself small but mighty, a single heartbeat in a galaxy that assumed he would be silent. And yet, he would not be. As night fell, the city shimmered with neon light and the soft hum of hovercrafts. Humans gathered on a balcony overlooking the central square, sharing stories of Earth, of failures and victories, of humor that no alien could fully understand but somehow appreciated. Amidst the alien metropolis, they were outsiders, but proud ones. They were small sparks in the darkness, ready to ignite in ways the galaxy had not yet imagined. The next morning, the Academy's training arenas roared with activity. Gravity simulators hummed, energy fields pulsed, and holographic instructors flickered with an alien authority that had seen centuries of failure and triumph. Rylan and his fellow humans were dwarfed by the alien cadets, some 6, 8, even 10 times their size, with limbs and senses engineered for perfection. Yet the humans moved with something the aliens could not anticipate: ingenuity. The combat simulation began, the walls of the arena shimmering with shifting obstacles. Alien cadets calculated every angle, every trajectory, as if the arena itself were a puzzle their bodies alone could solve. Rylan paused, taking in the pattern. Then, instead of following their method, he leapt into the chaos in an unpredictable arc, timing his movements to the oscillations of the energy fields. A wall would shift, he was already midair, a laser trap fired, he ducked instinctively. Every motion was improvised, but precise. The spectators froze. Not because the humans were stronger, they were not, but because they were clever. They adapted, they invented, they turned mistakes into advantages. An alien instructor hissed through mandibles, confused and impressed. The humans were chaotic algorithms, moving outside the rules the aliens believed universal. Later, in the Academy library, Rylan pored over alien schematics. Other cadets read centuries-old texts, absorbing knowledge methodically. Rylan flipped pages rapidly, skimming, connecting dots no alien scholar had thought to combine. The librarian, a translucent, multi-limbed being, hovered nearby, suspicious. "You are doing it wrong," it whispered in a voice like wind through glass. Rylan smiled faintly. "Maybe I'm doing it differently," he replied, though the librarian didn't understand the language fully. It registered in the subtle defiance of posture and gaze. Even the mundane became a battlefield of subtle superiority. During lunch, humans discovered a zero-gravity cafeteria section where trays and food floated freely. Alien cadets were careful, following rigid patterns to catch each item. Humans. They darted, they twisted, they spun, catching plates with improvisation and a laugh. A floating beverage bottle wobbled toward a tentacled alien, and a human reached out, snatched it midair, and handed it back. A ripple of astonishment ran through the crowd. Not aggressive, not boastful, just human brilliance in its simplest, most audacious form. As the day faded into night, the humans gathered on a balcony once more. Overlooking the alien city, now glowing with molten light and neon veins. Rylan traced the skyline with a finger, imagining paths through towers, over rooftops, past surveillance drones, past centuries of expectation. The galaxy had taught its creatures precision, discipline, and caution. Humans had learned something else: audacity, instinct, and the stubborn refusal to be underestimated. The next challenge came without warning. The Academy's central arena, a colossal dome of translucent alloys and shifting energy grids, pulsed with anticipation. Today's test was more than skill, it was strategy, foresight, and cunning. Alien cadets moved with precise calculation, their bodies flowing like water through the mazes of light and gravity wells. Humans, small and unassuming, stood at the edge, silent but watchful. Rylan scanned the arena. The simulation projected hazards, walls that closed without warning, energy pulses that could destabilize the floor, and shifting platforms that required coordination beyond human instinct. The aliens lunged into action with elegance, predictable arcs, and synchronized maneuvers. And then Rylan made a choice that no instructor had anticipated. He paused, he observed patterns, subtle cues in the machinery, vibrations in the floor, flickers of the energy walls. While aliens reacted, Rylan calculated. Then, with a burst of instinctive daring, he leapt diagonally across the arena, avoiding traps the others had barely noticed. Using the chaos to his advantage. One by one, humans followed, improvising solutions no alien design could have predicted. By the time the simulation ended, the arena was quiet. Hollow instructors hovered, their multifaceted eyes narrowing in disbelief. Humans had not only survived, they had scored higher than any previous cadet. Not through strength, not through precision, but through creativity, defiance, and an uncanny understanding of patterns. Afterward, in the quiet of the observation deck, Rylan sat alone, tracing the city lights with his finger. The hum of the metropolis below seemed to whisper in colors, patterns, and rhythms only a human could interpret instinctively. Beside him, a group of alien cadets approached, curiosity overcoming caution. Their faces were unreadable, their gestures cautious. Rylan smiled. No words were spoken, but the understanding was mutual. Humans were unpredictable. And that unpredictability was power. Later, the humans explored the city's outskirts, where alien architecture blended with wild, untamed biodomes. They encountered creatures designed for both beauty and danger, glowing, multi-limbed beasts that moved with elegance and menace. Where aliens approached carefully, analyzing, humans moved with improvisation. They laughed, dodged, climbed, and improvised solutions that left both alien cadets and beasts momentarily stunned. Humans did not fear, they adapted. By nightfall, the humans gathered once more, weary but alive, their eyes reflecting starlight and city neon. Somewhere, deep within the fabric of the alien academy, a realization took root. Humans were small, fragile, laughably new to this galaxy, yet no challenge could contain their spirit. And in that quiet, reflective moment, Rylan understood what the rest of the galaxy had yet to learn: audacity, instinct, and heart were weapons no alien could fully measure. The tranquility of the academy was shattered the following morning. Alarms echoed through the crystalline halls, vibrating against walls of prismatic glass. A test of skill had turned into a real-world scenario, an unknown threat had breached the outer sectors of the city. And cadets of all species were mobilized, Rylan and his fellow humans stood at the edge of the mobilization zone, dwarfed by towering alien warriors and sleek, multi-limbed strategists. Orders flowed in a cascade of alien language, rapid and precise. Humans were often too small, too impulsive, too unpredictable for standard tactics. But that unpredictability became their greatest advantage. The threat revealed itself. A rogue AI construct, abandoned by a civilization long dead, had awoken. Its body shimmered with a million shifting forms, a mass of energy and metal that moved faster than any human eye could track. Alien forces hesitated, recalculating strategies in real time, but Rylan's instincts guided him. Instead of charging, he observed. He noticed patterns in the AI's pulses, slight flickers that hinted at its predictive routines. While the aliens engaged in cautious formation, Rylan darted between gaps in the energy field, using the AI's own speed and confidence against it. He manipulated simple obstacles, gravity panels, floating debris, even discarded training drones, turning them into improvised tools of disruption. The aliens watched, astonished, as the human small forms weaved circles around the towering threat, striking with clever, unpredictable precision. Later, in the quiet aftermath, the city hummed with relief and disbelief. The rogue AI had been contained, not destroyed, but rendered harmless, through human improvisation rather than alien technique. Rylan walked through the streets, noticing details no one else had, sensors misaligned, panels slightly cracked, hidden conduits humming with latent energy. Humans saw patterns where others only saw chaos. In a quiet courtyard, away from the awe and whispered accolades, Rylan sat and reflected. The threat had been immense, yet humans had turned weakness into advantage. Every heartbeat, every decision, every instinct had mattered. Around him, the alien city thrummed with light and life, indifferent to his small presence, yet subtly acknowledging the audacity of a species that refused to yield. That night, on the academy balcony, humans gazed at the stars beyond the city spires. They were still outsiders, small, fragile, untested in the broader galaxy, but for the first time, the humans felt the weight of their own potential. They had survived. They had excelled. And the cosmos, vast and ancient, was beginning to notice. The academy's halls were quieter than usual the next morning, but the air was thick with expectation. Whispers followed the humans wherever they moved, some curious, some wary, some incredulous. Rylan and his friends had become anomalies, a spark of unpredictability in a galaxy that prized order above all else. Today's lesson was subtler than the previous tests: negotiation, diplomacy, and ethics. Cadets were placed in simulated scenarios where they would have to mediate disputes between alien factions with centuries of hostility. The simulation pulsed to life, holographic environments stretching in impossible geometries, each choice branching into consequences. Aliens approached methodically, following centuries of logic and precedent. Humans, small and impatient, observed first. They noticed micro-expressions, subtle shifts in posture, patterns in hesitation. When an argument escalated, Rylan intervened, not with force, but with insight. He asked questions no alien had considered, suggested solutions that seemed absurd yet elegant, and, through audacity and empathy, turned stalemates into compromise. Later, a challenge emerged outside the simulation. A group of students discovered a malfunctioning energy conduit threatening to collapse a training hall. Alien cadets hesitated, recalculating, awaiting approval. Humans rushed in, improvising levers, rerouting energy flows, and using instincts honed in previous tests to stabilize the hazard. What could have been disaster became a demonstration of human initiative and moral courage, acting first, thinking creatively, and saving lives without hesitation. The afternoon brought a quieter, more reflective lesson. Humans wandered the biodomes, observing alien ecosystems, creatures, and technology. They paused in moments of wonder, noting patterns others ignored, the way light refracted through crystalline flora, the rhythms of alien creatures breathing, the subtle interplay of energy in living architecture. Even amidst chaos, humans found curiosity, humor, and empathy, qualities that set them apart and made them quietly heroic. By nightfall, as the city lights bathed the towers in neon warmth, Rylan stood atop a balcony, overlooking the metropolis. Below, alien cadets moved in perfection, precise and elegant, while humans lingered in their small groups, laughing, debating, improvising. They were still outsiders, still underestimated, yet the city itself seemed to bend subtly around them, acknowledging that brilliance did not always come in forms the galaxy expected. In that quiet moment, Rylan realized that defiance, ingenuity, and empathy were not just survival tools, they were the essence of humanity. In a galaxy of calculated perfection, humans were unpredictable, clever, and courageous. And sometimes, that was enough to change the rules entirely. The Academy was alive with an electric tension. Word had spread, a rogue faction of alien warlords had infiltrated the city, seeking to seize control of the central command tower. Alarm sirens split the air, and cadets of every species rushed into position. This was no simulation, this was the first true test of the humans' cunning, courage, and defiance on a scale that could alter the fate of the city itself. Rylan and his team moved swiftly through corridors of gleaming alloy and prismatic glass, anticipating dangers that stretched beyond instinct alone. The aliens relied on power, on centuries of tactical knowledge. Humans relied on unpredictability. Every turn became a puzzle, every shadow a potential threat. When a security drone attempted to block their path, Rylan didn't attack, it wasn't necessary. He rerouted its internal systems with a hasty improvisation, sending it careening harmlessly into the walls. The central tower loomed, its pinnacle slicing through the neon sky. Inside, the alien warlords moved like predators, confident in centuries of experience. Yet the humans did not hesitate. They improvised traps, created diversions, and moved with a synchronized chaos that no machine or alien could predict. The warlords' plans collapsed against a species that did not play by the rules, that used instinct and audacity as weapons sharper than steel. At the tower's apex, Rylan faced the final obstacle, a massive interface controlling the city's energy grids, protected by layers of alien encryption and security protocols. Where others would falter, Rylan saw patterns. Hands flying over panels, eyes tracing energy flows, he manipulated the systems with improvisation and intuition. With a final surge, he stabilized the tower, neutralized the invaders, and restored order, not through brute force, but through cleverness, bravery, and human defiance. The city below erupted in a mixture of awe and relief. Aliens paused in disbelief, realizing that these small, seemingly fragile humans had not only survived but dominated a crisis that should have been beyond them. It was not strength that had won, nor size, nor centuries of training, it was ingenuity, audacity, and heart. Later, atop the observation balcony, the humans gathered, exhausted but triumphant. The stars above glimmered like witnesses, the city lights reflecting their small but unyielding forms. Rylan looked outward, imagining the vast galaxy beyond the towers, knowing humanity had left its mark. Quietly, fiercely. With courage that no algorithm could predict, humans had proven themselves, and so, the stars learned to fear the sound of a human heartbeat.